too. We always know the second one. First one we have no idea.
Yeah. I guess the first one is the learning experience.
Make sure you play that old school Royal Rumble theme for the lead into our pod. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
Oh man,
I probably would if you played it.
Once you hear it, yeah. Royal Rumble classic theme. Yeah, it comes right up.
Yeah, I can't even think of a Royal Rumble.
And then if your photoshopping skills are on point for it, you gotta like somehow Photoshop our heads into that cartoon.
Oh shit!
Because that's such an iconic thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dude, that is so 1992.
Dude, that is my childhood all in one fucking song right there. Like I'm so excited.
I like it.
Just listening to it. Love the goddamn Royal Rumble.
Oh, dude. I can see the little video montage at the beginning and everything.
Oh, no.
Spinning pictures.
It's going to end with a Hulkster. You know it's going to end with the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. That actually reminds me, I saw a meme where a guy took a picture of his 1992 WWF calendar.
No.
And said that 2020...
Oh, it's the exact same year.
The exact same dates.
Yeah, I did.
So I can finally use my 1992 WWF calendar.
That was totally
again.
worth him holding on to that.
For sure, dude. I almost got on eBay and looked up 1992 calendars.
Yeah, well, probably a lot of people did, unfortunately, if anybody had them.
Yeah, and they went up like $50.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, welcome to Ohio Wrestlecast number 22.
Well, we're going to rumble here on Ohio Wrestlecast number 22. I'm excited.
This is the Royal Rumble episode, in the spirit of the Royal Rumble being what, next week?
It'll be next Sunday, as we're recording on a Thursday, so not this Sunday, but the following. So this will definitely be released in time to get you hyped for the Royal Rumble.
For sure.
Which as we know, and the road to WrestleMania has been a thing, but it really always is. Royal Rumble is like the beginning of WrestleMania season.
Yep. Beginning of like the wrestling season.
It is, and I feel that way anymore. Like this is the
even on like Hulu and like where we're on season 28 of like Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or whatever it is.
It'd be
like,
Raw because Raw started in 93.
The new season started with the New Year's episode,
and it feels like this is it. This is where you really start honing in the big storylines, and we're going to talk about this year's Royal Rumble and all those things. But I mean that's what it is every year. Is because of course. Since 93, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets the title shot. So the winner of the Rumble is in the main event, which now with having two titles and what have you, it's not necessarily the main event. But for a long time, it was, man. Whoever won the Royal Rumble, boom, that's it.
Yeah,
that's your WrestleMania main event.
Well,
it is.
Not only that, now with the women's division, we get two Rumble matches.
Yes.
And the women's division in WWE, anyway, is killer.
Oh, between WWE and NXT, which they bring a lot of the girls up for. I mean, it is. But when they first started that a couple years ago, it's like, okay, you're bringing in some legends, some surprises, and it's kind of fun. But like, how are they going to keep up with 30 girls every year? Yeah. Well, really, it's no different than the men, where it's like, there's going to be 20 of them, aren't going to win. Like, some of them are filling spots, but that's been the men's Rumble the whole time, too.
Yeah.
Where now you might have like 10. You're going to have your top favorites. You're going to have maybe the underdogs or maybe a surprise. And the women's Rumble, especially 2 years ago when Asuka won, I thought was excellent. That was
for
a really,
sure.
Really good Royal Rumble match.
I think both of those Rumble matches were good.
Yeah, Becky won. Or are you talking about with Nakamura winning a couple years ago?
I meant both the male and the female matches were both really good. Actually, last year's Rumble was great, too, if I remember.
So, man, I really did.
They had some, probably like the 2 years prior were stinkers, though, so that helped probably, what I mean? But, yeah, dude. Royal Rumble's my favorite, so I'm pretty fucking psyched.
Royal Rumble's my favorite too, man. Well, let's open up with that. Let's go back in time as us as youngins.
Okay.
Before the podcasting was even a thing. Think about what really made the Royal Rumble jump out at you.
Oh shit, dude. What about it doesn't?
There you go.
I mean, it's 30 men, sometimes 50, depending if you're in Saudi Arabia or not.
Yeah. That was overkill.
Yeah,
by the way, I was geeked for. I'm like 50 guys in a row, yeah. And then by the time you get to like 35, you're like, man, I'm okay.
Yeah. I mean, we get 2 Royal Rumbles a year now, really, if you think about it like that. If they do it every time.
Well, we get 2 Royal Rumbles a year, anyways, with the women's and the men's.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but I mean, like 2 events that feature a Royal Rumble. But, yeah, dude, like, I love the surprise guests, the people you don't see coming. Like I said, the thing that got me back into wrestling in 2016 was the debut of AJ Styles.
Right.
It was almost like he came into WWE and I came back to WWE.
Number 3, Roman Reigns in the ring, and that music hits, and nobody knows the music, and then the phenomenal thrust across the screen, and it's huge. Everybody will remember that.
Unfortunately, they blew that whole spot. They showed Roman Reigns looking confused a little too long, I think. You missed the Titantron.
Right.
Thing, but
in a sense though, that was almost better because you heard the crowd before you saw it. Yeah. So it's something huge. Oh, who the fuck is it?
And then you see him out there. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And like I knew who he was, and because of like old DVDs and shit. I used to watch it like your house and shit with Josh, and like in YouTube videos and whatnot. Yeah. But like, I didn't watch anything that he had done in Japan because I hadn't been watching wrestling at that point. So like, I was really probably for like 8 to 10 years, I had no idea what was going on in wrestling. So, yeah, my favorite event, probably my current favorite wrestler of the last 5 or so years. You know what I mean? Got me back there.
The springboard was launching point was right there at the Royal Rumble.
And I mean, the thing I don't like is I don't think they should tell you who's in it anymore. Like they could tell you the opening 2, but like they've been doing that thing lately where they'll tell you I'm number 30 or I'm number 26.
Well, number 30 was always like a big deal. Like you could earn the 30th spot. Yeah. Like that was kind of a gimmick. But usually like they kind of have like, all right, 30 spots and 25 are confirmed. Yeah. So then there's 5 more. Now then again, 3 it's going to be like Kurt Hawkins sometimes, where it's just like, they had to fill the spot.
Or Hurricane Helms comes back or something.
But last year, 2 years ago, where Rey Mysterio was the big surprise coming back. I think it was 2 years ago. Where, he was a big surprise coming in.
Even a few years prior to that, Jake the Snake came back. I remember him walking out.
I remember the one year, I think it was 2002, where they did advertise there was a return of like Val Venus, Godfather, Goldust, and Mr. Perfect was coming back, and Mr. Perfect ended up being the second to last man eliminated. It was Austin, Angle, and Kurt.
Wow.
So like,
who'd have thought that?
Exactly, and like so, even at that point, you knew they were coming back, but like it was exciting. Like it was exciting to hear that music again.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they have other surprises that aren't as fun. I mean, like there was like the Drew Carey spot in the late 90s.
I do remember that.
They'll have things like that. Lately, they've even had women get in, with like Nia Jax entering the men's battle royal, men's Royal Rumble.
She actually got pretty far too, didn't she?
Yeah, and then some eliminations.
She had a feud or something the next night on Raw, right, with somebody because
she was starting a feud with Dean Ambrose.
That's what it was.
And it kind of got petered
out. She interrupted him, and it almost seemed partly a shoot. Yeah. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I think that was.
And
Ambrose
I think he mentioned that on Jericho's podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah,
where I wasn't sure what they were doing with him, but I remember as the Royal Rumble. Now I was born in '84, so I'm a little older than you. The first Rumble was in '88, and do you know actually the origins of how the Rumble started?
I don't.
The WWF programmed the Royal Rumble against the Bunkhouse Stampede WCW pay-per-view.
Okay.
They had the pay-per-view that night.
Were they similar or something?
Well, a little bit. The Bunkhouse Stampede was weird. It was a cage match where like there was like 10 guys and they all were in like street clothes in a cage, and then you had to escape the cage. Like,
okay.
And,
so it was like a special match.
Yeah, like it was a gimmick match.
Yeah.
And apparently, allegedly, Pat Patterson's the one who developed the idea of the Battle Royal, but you bring them in one at a time.
Yeah.
And so they actually put the first Royal Rumble in '88 on free TV. It was on USA.
Oh wow.
So the very first the very first Royal Rumble wasn't a pay-per-view. The first one that was a pay-per-view was '89, and Big John Studd won. I don't really remember any of that. I do remember when it happened in '90 and like '91, and in both those years Hulk Hogan won. But Hulk Hogan won everything. Like even at that point, it didn't feel like a big deal because there was no stakes involved.
Yeah. I think I had that on VHS. My dad bought it from like a video store for me. Yeah, I had a few of them, and one of them was. That's how I discovered Royal Rumble.
Yeah, the tapes is how.
I think it was like '90. It was an early '90s one.
Sure.
I think Hogan won.
And even at that point, though, there wasn't. It wasn't the winner goes to WrestleMania or anything like that. I do remember and I actually heard this on Bruce Pritchard's podcast. When you go back to 1990, that was the year WrestleMania 6. So it's Hogan and Warrior. Again, Hogan's the champion, so there's no title on the line or anything like that in the Rumble match, but the whole idea of that Rumble match was to finally have Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior interact.
Yeah.
Because back then, good guys just didn't wrestle good guys. Like
Yeah.
you would never see a good guy versus a good guy.
They're on the same team. It was like baseball. They were in different divisions.
Exactly. You weren't going to see them on a pay-per-view. You weren't. It just wasn't. Yeah, like baseball and the NL. Yeah, both these guys are awesome, but they're both over here, and they're never going to intersect.
Yeah.
They're just not. Except the Royal Rumble, because it was every man for himself, and they say it every time they promote it. Royal Rumble, it's every man for himself. Or like back then, that was a big deal. It's like the tag team Demolition would fight each other in there. That's a huge
another cool thing about
deal
Rumble.
back then.
Even tag teams or stables would have conflict between each other. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'd have one heel eliminate the other heel, and that would lead to conflict between them.
Yeah, you can really build a lot of like plot points around the Royal Rumble.
And they always have, and that's the thing. It started really with, before that, it was more, we're going to have this match. It's a novelty. It's an attraction, 30 men, which up to 30 men could be in the ring at the same time. It never happened, of course.
Yeah.
But, in that anticipation, that clock countdown, it's a big, every time it happens, you're always...
10. No, I do it. I'm 32 years old.
You want to see who's next.
Yeah, I'm going to be counted
It's a human reaction. We want to see who's next. We like countdowns,
Yeah.
But that Hogan Warrior interaction was such a big deal. It never happened. Like it was huge. So they built that around that. And then in '92, which you probably don't remember, you were young. Late '91 Survivor Series. There's a lot of hoopla around the world title. The Undertaker beat Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Ric Flair slid a chair in, and The Undertaker tombstoned him on a chair. They did a rematch, which was a weird thing. They did a rematch the next week. It was called Tuesday in Texas. It was a pay-per-view, which we should watch sometime because there's Macho Man and Jake the Snake stuff. It's amazing.
It's a good name.
Yeah, this Tuesday in Texas.
They should do another one.
That's when it's this Tuesday in Texas. That was the name of it.
I like it.
Where Hogan won. But again, there was more hoopla. Ric Flair, ran into Jack Tunney, the president. So Jack Tunney said, fuck this shit, and they held up the title. So that year was the first time where the Royal Rumble meant anything. And it was 92 Rumble, which if you haven't watched the 92 Rumble ever, you need to watch it. It's universally known as probably the best Royal Rumble ever.
Yeah.
It's when Ric Flair comes in number 3 and goes the distance.
Okay.
And it's just an absolutely amazing Rumble. Again, that telling more stories. It was Hulk Hogan, Sid Justice, who was getting pushed heavily at the time, and Flair. And you had Hulk getting close to eliminating Flair, and Sid kind of tossed Hulk over the top rope, which they were both good guys at the time.
Yeah.
Hulkster, being kind of a little bitch on the floor, gets pissed, reaches his hand out to Sid. Sid goes to shake it, and he pulls Sid over it, and Flair, and that built their match. Flair got the title. So that's when they started, again, just building stories within the Rumble, which you could still go back now, 20 years ago, and watch that and go, that was 30 years ago. Shit.
Yeah.
30 years ago, and say,
God, we're getting old.
That was amazing. Like, that's such a good story being told.
Yeah, for sure. Nice, dude.
What are some of your earliest memories of the Rumble? You said you had the tapes, but do you remember, as we grew up and getting into the Attitude Era?
Probably most of my memories are definitely from Attitude Era, late '90s, early 2000s. Mostly, probably more late '90s, because once John Cena came around in the early 2000s, that's really when I started leaving. Anybody that watches the show knows that at this point. But
you dipped out. Evan Wiley once said that he was going to be done watching wrestling if Cena beat Jericho.
I've heard this story actually, and he did. So.
And he did, but Evan didn't dip out at that point. He was not happy.
I don't know. I watched Shawn Michaels retire Ric Flair at WrestleMania at Evan's house.
Yeah.
So
he was still with it at that point.
Yeah. He was at least watching.
When you talk about those late '90s, do you remember the year that Vince McMahon won?
All right, that is the most memorable. That was in Anaheim, California, right? Okay. And Stone Cold and Vince McMahon were gone most of the thing.
It was such a weird story,
They fought all over the arena. They fought in the bathroom.
And they actually set up an ambush for the corporation to lay him out.
See, that one's the most memorable to me, too, because I was born in Anaheim, California.
Okay.
I had been to the Anaheim Pond where it was so many times to see, the circus, Mighty Ducks games, all kinds of stuff, dude. So, I had been in that bathroom that they're fighting
they're fighting in.
I had walked in those halls.
Corridors, and you were like, I know exactly
this is so cool, man. I pissed in that stall right there. I was I don't know, 10 or 12 or however old I was in 99. Yeah. I believe that was 99.
99, correct.
And, dude, and Stone Cold, KO, you thought he had won or whatever, and then Vince came at the last second.
Yeah, what it was, they laid Austin out in the back. Vince comes out and does commentary, because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
So everybody else is still out there going, and then Austin comes back, eliminates whoever was left, and it's just him and Vince. So obviously he's going to win, but they actually had The Rock come out and distract him.
That's what it was, The Rock, yeah.
Vince throws him over the top rope. And you're thinking now, that, I mean, as a match itself, because sometimes the action in the Royal Rumble can be like, oh, that was great. The action wasn't necessarily that great, but boy, did that tell a story.
Yeah. That was probably the greatest thing about it, because I remember watching it, like, once I got the network eventually, I went back and watched those Royal Rumbles, and that was the first one I watched, dude. And, like, I was surprised at just like, wow, this Rumble match really wasn't all that great. It was just so memorable because of that one storyline going through it.
But what was great is that you end with that, and you think to yourself, how is Stone Cold going to get a title shot now?
Yeah.
How, and they, of course, they would build it throughout the next couple months until WrestleMania. But it's like, how's he gonna get it?
Yeah.
He lost the Royal Rumble. Like it seemed so obvious he was going to win the Royal Rumble and wrestle The Rock. Like that's what's going to happen, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it made you kind of think, how can we get there now? And I thought it was awesome. I liked it in '95 when Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog actually were 1 and 2, and then were the last two in the ring.
I think we
Shawn
might
won
have
the
talked
30.
about this prior, and you recommended it to me.
Yeah, he's the first guy that ever went number 1 all the way.
Okay.
And that was even Shawn as a heel, but it still built up the storyline because it was going to be him and Diesel, where it's like, this guy just took out everybody.
Yeah.
This is how good he is. And speaking of Diesel, they still call it to this day the Diesel spot. If you go back and watch the 1994 Royal Rumble, okay, Diesel's young. He's wide-eyed and bushy-tailed at that point. He's still a young guy, and really he had just been just kind of Shawn's lackey. Mm. Well, he gets in the ring with probably like 5 guys and just chucks them all. Just boom, one after the other after the other. And the crowd goes nuts. Even though it's a heel, like it's just that, we love watching dominance. You love watching just a badass.
For sure.
It's like, who's going to stop him? I'm pretty sure it's like Billy Gunn that came out next. It was still Smoking Guns Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
So he comes out, there's a couple punches, gets thrown out of the ring. Mm-hmm. And so Diesel just dominates, and they call it the Diesel spot now, where we know that.
When you go out there, like Kane does it, Undertaker does it, Brock Lesnar's going to do it.
Roman Reigns had done it.
Yeah.
It's
usually the big monster guy,
and
Braun
that's usually
Strowman.
their breakthrough. Like Roman Reigns was still just part of the Shield, and they let him break, I think it was Kane's record or whatever, of the most eliminations, where it's like. And that's just good storytelling. You can make that guy and still not have him win. Obviously, the winner is made. The winner has a storyline going forward.
Yeah.
But you can still tell lots of other stories within the match.
And get over.
I'll tell you another good example of that was, do you remember after they did the brand split? So this is right about where we were at the tune out. So it's like 2002 they do the brand split. In 2003, there was rumors that they wanted to have Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. No, excuse me. That'd be 2005. I take that back. 2004 was WrestleMania 20. It's 2005. They wanted to have Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, but Shawn was on Raw, Kurt was on SmackDown, and they really held true to the brand split at the time. Mm. And they had Shawn eliminate Kurt in the Royal Rumble, and then Kurt come back in and beat the shit out of Shawn and take him out. So now both these guys aren't winning. They're not going to the title match, but you have a story on why these two want to kill each other. And now we're going to have Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, which is a dream match.
Yeah, now you have a WrestleMania match.
Now we have a WrestleMania match, and they build it all within the context of the Rumble match.
Yeah.
So there's so many different ways you can tell a story within that Battle Royal, and they even just give you little Easter eggs, just little nuggets that like, oh, well, they did that. Maybe that's where they're going for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it gets you excited. It gives you something to talk about.
And at this point in the year 2020, like there's a lot of recycling of storylines too. You know what I mean? Like they kind of run out of ideas. Yeah. But like there's common tropes that just never get old. Mm-hmm. Like you can, if you just tweak it a little bit, you can make it classic but fresh too in a weird way.
Then you get the Kofi spot.
Yeah, Kofi every single year.
It's gonna be the Kofi spot.
I'm waiting for the day when he blows it.
Did you see the one a couple years ago? Yeah, I know he doesn't blow it. A couple years ago, where they put the plate of pancakes underneath him to save him.
Yeah, and then they laid out pancakes and he
He walked on the pancakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like
just
stepping stones.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, it's stupid as fuck and it's silly, but I mean, so is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We love that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
the one where he ended up in the announcer's chair and kind of bunny hopped with the chair to get back to the steps.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always all sorts of interesting ways that you could, I mean, that is the thing now. When Kofi's out there, it's kind of he's going to get eliminated, but how's he going to prevent?
Yeah,
it's
that's
exciting.
One of the things you wait for. Yep.
The Royal Rumble, man, it is. It's just, and again, the attraction of it all to the who's next, the surprises. Which, speaking of which, have you heard any of the rumors on this year's surprises?
Actually, I haven't heard any rumors, but I do know that Brock Lesnar's in it.
Brock Lesnar's in it.
He's the champ.
And he's entered number one.
So
it's going to be number one, which is a brand, again, for how many Royal Rumbles they've had, this is a new story. I'm the champion. I'm number one. I'm going to eliminate all of you. Fuck you all. Nobody's beating me and coming to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's a different story. So, obviously, they're setting it up to whoever eliminates him would be a big storyline. It could be anybody could eliminate him and still not win the Rumble, but you're still a made man because now you have a story.
Well, yeah, and that which also makes me think that Brock's probably not going to win. And,
I mean, they could always go that route. There's a lot of times we felt like Brock shouldn't or won't win,
and
but he
wins. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he won. But it makes me think he's not going to win. And then because there's two titles, whoever does win's probably going to pick, the Raw title because he's SmackDown.
Brock is on Raw. He went over to Raw to.
Oh yeah, they switched him and they turned
Bray
it
Wyatt
blue.
is on SmackDown.
That's
Fiend.
right.
But you're right. So a SmackDown or somebody could win to take.
They're gonna choose the
Fiend,
guy,
and then whoever Brock gets eliminated by Brock could say, "No, I want him. Like I want to fucking kill him." And that guy could say, "I threw out Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
give me the shot."
No, that makes sense. So actually, it makes total sense now that Brock's in there.
Well, then that being said, let's start with, and I think that's probably the route they would go. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense, and it could be a lot of fun. You can make two guys in the same match. So let's start with that. Who do you think would be a good candidate, and who do you think probably will eliminate Brock, take on Brock at WrestleMania?
Well, judging, and you're going to think I'm ridiculous here, but judging by Monday Night Raw this week, R-Truth.
He had a terribly entertaining segment with Brock Lesnar.
And didn't he cause R-Truth to lose the 24/7 title?
I didn't see the finish of it.
I can't remember.
R-Truth interrupting Brock and being oblivious to it.
R-Truth would be fucking hilarious.
By the way, I would be thrilled to see that.
Exactly. I would watch that at WrestleMania for sure.
Because it's like there's 98% chance that Brock just murders him.
Yep.
But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't? And I mean, if anybody deserves that Lifetime Achievement Award for being with the WWE for this long and just doing whatever they ask of him and being entertaining, I think R-Truth kind of does.
Yeah.
I did not even contemplate that.
I mean, other than the fact that R-Truth is kind of just the guy that they give, just like, let R-Truth go out there and do something.
Well, he's in a bit of the Santino spot, the Santino Marella.
Yeah.
He's a bit in that spot.
I think
R-Truth is more credible than Santino was.
They don't mock him as much as they did.
And R-Truth looks more the part. I mean, he's still a big athletic, jacked up dude,
he's still good at what he does, and he's still legit, but he's also funny as hell and goofy.
Right.
And what's not to love about that?
That could be awesome.
I would watch that.
I would almost guarantee there'll be some interaction between them in the Rumble, yay or nay. Or maybe R-Truth gets close or something. I mean, I wouldn't have to.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was like Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns or something. It's that wouldn't shock me either. But R-Truth, wouldn't shock me. Tickled to death.
I think it would be. I never even thought of R-Truth. The one that I thought of on the way here that would be interesting would be like a smaller guy, like a Ricochet or something.
Ricochet would be cool.
Like if Ricochet just popped him with a dropkick and he knocked him over, then Brock's going to want to just murder this little dude, and Ricochet would be like, yeah, the WrestleMania for the title. Let's do it. And Brock has had a lot of success, a lot of really good matches with the smaller guys, with AJ, with Finn Balor, with Daniel Bryan. He's had a lot of really good matches in the last couple of years with smaller opponents.
Yeah.
So I
they
kinda
push
fuck
him
that
quite a
route.
bit.
I would never be opposed to seeing Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar again.
Oh, for
I think
sure.
that's just a hoss fight ready to happen. But
Watch it be Goldberg.
oh god,
Goldberg's like number 26 right
but
after him. Or
and
something.
he's still on good terms with the company.
Yeah.
It's not outside the realm of possibility. And hey, look, Goldberg and Lesnar were much better at Mania a couple years ago than I ever thought it would be.
I know who it is.
Who's it going to be?
Cain Velasquez.
It could be. If you think that maybe they had Kane go down easy the first time with the idea of, hey, you'll get it back.
I mean, I don't think we've seen the end of Cain Velasquez.
I can't imagine
And
they put the title
had-
on Cain Velasquez, though.
No, but they probably had full intentions of selling a Kane Brock title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the title, a Kane and Brock match is a Kane and Brock match. I mean, when they did it overseas, all those Saudi Arabia shows just feel like throwaways. Because that is such a huge match, and I understand they're delivering a huge card to that crowd of 100,000 people. Like, I get why they have to bring that. But for us, I don't know. I guess Friday at 1 in the afternoon, it just doesn't feel like a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch it then either. I watched it like hours later at home.
Yeah.
So.
But you're right. That could definitely be in line for a rematch. which would
Or,
make a
I
lot
mean,
of
like,
sense.
for all we know, Tyson Fury will pop up in the Rumble and do
Possibility
something.
there, too.
Because, I mean, we already saw him and Strowman. Like, I'm sure they have a pretty good relationship. I'm sure we'll see Tyson Fury again. You know what I mean? So
He mentioned
maybe.
I'd like to get back, but I think he's actually booked for a boxing fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but so he was booked for a boxing fight for the Saudi Arabia stuff too.
It's possible.
Everybody was like, "This isn't a good idea. What if he gets hurt?" You know?
Yeah, well, I think there's a much more likely scenario he gets hurt wrestling Brock Lesnar.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, even in a worked environment, Brock's going to throw you around.
Yeah. I think it's more likely though that it's Cain Velasquez.
That's
I'd love R-Truth.
I'd love R-Truth too. I'm going to be pulling for that the whole time. I did want to mention though the surprise that's being heavily rumored is Edge is going to actually
I did hear
cleared
about
and
that.
would be making his return at the Rumble.
They're saying he's been cleared for like ever. He was cleared when he retired. They said,
Well,
and he actually chose to be a stay-at-home dad.
you know how it is, man. It's hard to scratch that it's hard to stay away.
No, I get it,
And
but
so,
like,
maybe with a limited schedule, etc., and one last run, it might be something he's interested
seeing
in.
Daniel Bryan come back and fucking.
Yeah, that was a guy who seemed like he was definitely done.
Yeah.
I mean, Shawn Michaels was definitely done. He came back for one Saudi Arabia match, but I mean, as long as they're medically cleared, I think it's hard for guys to stay completely done.
No, I agree. I mean, I haven't watched Vikings either, so I don't know if his character died off, so maybe his acting career's gone a little down.
Jeff would probably be the one to ask about that.
Yeah, well, or I could just catch up. I eventually will. But yeah.
Well, then, so who do you got winning the thing? It's hard. I mean, Roman Reigns seems like an easy favorite. Because Roman and Bray are on the same show.
Daniel Bryan won last year. Right?
No, Seth Rollins won last year.
Daniel Bryan hasn't won since he's been back.
Daniel Bryan's never won it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, well then Daniel Bryan.
You're gonna take Daniel Bryan?
And then he wants to go after the Fiend.
But pretty sure he's in the title match at the Royal Rumble.
You're right.
Or else I would have.
Yeah. So he's not even in there. So no, there
No,
kills my theory
the
there.
possibility that something screwy happens in the title match and then he's back in the Rumble.
Yeah,
match.
I mean,
It's
fuck
not
Becky
impossible.
Lynch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lost the title and got title shot again the same night.
Yeah.
So it's not. That being said, it'd be kind of weird if they did that.
Yeah, again, the following year.
But it's not outside the realm of possibility. I'll tell you a guy that again we talked. I haven't watched a whole lot of the current product lately, but it's WrestleMania season, so I'm going to start tuning in more. A guy I've always been high on, but is just extra entertaining to me right now, is Drew fucking McIntyre.
Oh, I love Drew McIntyre.
I watched this bit with No Way Jose,
Yeah.
where he dared him to hit another Claymore, does the countdown with him. I'm like, I don't even know if he's supposed to be a babyface. Everything he's doing right now is a babyface.
Yeah.
You're getting the crowd behind you, beats up the conga line, says that the cheeseburger seems like a decent enough guy. That being said, they feature a lot of they want, that's the idea. They want you to think everybody has a chance, but in reality, they feature 5 guys from each show. Hey, 10 guys have a real shot here.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys. So there's nothing to say like, yeah, he might be against Lesnar, which I wouldn't be opposed, or winning the Rumble, getting the title shot. But I'd like to see it. It seems like they're really starting to feature him a little bit heavier than they had been.
Yeah.
Which Raw is a Heyman product, and I feel like it has Heyman's fingerprints all over it.
Oh, for sure.
Get this guy out there. Get this guy featured. Let you see the personality that he has, because he has one.
Mm-hmm.
When he's been on Raw, I mean, he's just looked scary and been a really good wrestler. But like now, like no, let him be a character, and I think it's going well.
He made a dick joke on Monday.
I missed that.
Yeah, it was Orton and
And
AJ
Styles,
in the
and
ring.
He got in the match
He came
and
out
shit.
and said some shit, and then he said, "If you guys are done," he made like a dick measuring contest comment. He says, but then he's like, he coughs and goes, "My Claymore's bigger than yours," and it made Randy Orton drop the mic and go like this, like what the fuck was that? So I mean, yeah. I like Drew McIntyre.
So I mean, yeah, you got on the Raw side, Owens, Joe, Rollins all being featured prominently well, and then those three guys right there, Orton, AJ, and McIntyre. So those are the guys that they're kind of featuring. They're kind of highlighting.
Yeah,
they think they might have a pretty good shot to win it. SmackDown, you're going to have, of course, Roman, Corbin, Braun Strowman. Lots of guys in there they're going to probably feature. They'll probably bring up a couple of NXT guys for shock value.
Yeah, for sure.
I think NXT, they're saying it is being featured. Or maybe that was just for WrestleMania.
What do you mean being featured?
Like they might have NXT matches.
Like NXT is like just included in.
Yeah, they'll maybe not. Maybe there's not matches on that. Maybe it was WrestleMania that's definitely going to have NXT matches.
That would be weird considering TakeOver is usually a big deal.
TakeOver, they're not having TakeOver the night before.
I thought they just moved it to like Friday.
No, they moved it to the next month. They moved it to February.
Oh, wow.
Kind of as a standalone.
Man, that sucks. I kind of liked it. It made it like a whole WrestleMania
but at
weekend.
the same time, the Royal Rumble was always, in WrestleMania 2, is always overshadowed by TakeOver.
That's true.
You have this,
they were out doing them.
Well, it's not, I mean, it is, I guess it's better, but what NXT definitely is tighter. It's a 2.5 hour show, and it's just wrestling, and it's awesome. And then you get to the next night for Royal Rumble, which I've loved the Royal Rumbles the last 2 years. I think they've both been good. But especially WrestleMania, where now it's 5-6 hours. And the matches are still really good.
Yeah.
But man, like I just got 2.5 hours. I'm in, I'm out, and I had a hell of a wrestling show. I'm great. I'm on cloud nine. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, takeovers are just the best wrestling shows, period. No, AEW, New Japan, doesn't matter. Takeover shows are the best shows on TV because of that.
I don't think there's a takeover show I've watched that wasn't great.
No, they've all been.
That wasn't at least 4.5 stars, if not 5 stars.
Yep, I agree completely.
I mean, I don't think I could say a bad thing about a single Gargano and Ciampa match. Like when it was their feud.
They were all great.
I mean, that's when I would watch NXT for that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You were ready for it. And even before then, like they had, Samoa Joe coming through, Finn Balor coming through, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, even back then.
Zayn and Neville, like, there's huge matches, man. They were just constantly reloading with talent and booking it right.
Yep.
Which is probably, might be a good move. You build just the anticipation for the Royal Rumble, and then the next month, you get some more anticipation for the NXT.
No, that makes more sense.
Because it might be overkill. It really is. We have too much good wrestling. By the time we're done watching an NXT one night and then a long pay-per-view, whether it's SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania, we're beat, man. We're wrestling out. I don't really want to watch Raw the next night.
None of that, but for like a middle class American like us, like we might have to work Saturday night. We're just happy we got Sunday night to watch WrestleMania. So it might not always like link up, and you're not watching NXT until after WrestleMania.
I swear I'm booked on a show almost every NXT takeover. I just am. So it is one of those things. Hey, I'm still a wrestling fan. So when I get done with my show I'm gonna maybe pick up a pizza on the way home, and I'm gonna watch some goddamn wrestling. Yep. Like I'm excited about it. Well, that being said, then we still got the Women's Royal Rumble. The women's division, I don't know how you feel about it as a whole. I feel like it was completely on fire last year with Becky's climb, but maybe has hit a bit of a stalling point on both shows.
It's weird. Like, you barely see Becky anymore. Like she kind of popped up again recently. I don't know if she was injured or something.
Tell you that she's a the top draw. I mean, the TLC pay per view. It was the main event, which was a debacle. I mean, it was just bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
So they're still featured. She's still featured prominently, but I don't feel like there's any real challengers. I feel like she's got Charlotte around her for the last like 5 years.
Yeah, it was either Charlotte or like Sasha when she came back. That was
which I thought
cool.
that was good. And they had a really good Hell in a Cell match.
The Bailey thing was all right.
That was built with her and Baszler, and that was definitely a letdown for the main event. So that was 2 pay-per-views in a row.
Yeah.
That Becky was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Now they're building Becky and Asuka for this year. Asuka beat her last year, as we talked about, lost the title, and then got the title shot back. So they got Becky and Asuka again this year, which should be a really good match.
That could be good. Yeah, that could be really good.
But we're talking about the Women's Royal Rumble, and boy, it's just hard to see anybody but Charlotte winning it.
I mean, Lacey could
Lacey's
win.
being
They're pushing
pushed pretty
her a lot.
heavily.
I like Lacey a lot. She's not bad in the ring either.
You think she's better in the babyface role she's in now?
I think so. Like her gimmick, she's good at being a heel with that gimmick, but I think her gimmick does more for her when she's a babyface. Because like that American, I used to be a Marine.
Yeah.
I'll knock you out for justice sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's
Still
good.
a mother,
she
a
plays it well.
country,
Exactly.
and I'm a badass. And Bailey and Sasha are the mean girls at this point.
And she kind of wins on social media. Like she doesn't take no shit from people.
Yeah.
Like she's very well liked as a person. So I think it's as of right now, it suits her better to be a babyface, and she's doing a good job, especially against Bailey.
Right.
Which, how do you feel about Bailey's new gimmick?
It's not sticking. It's just not registering.
I
to me.
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
But everybody makes fun of her hair. I think she looks better.
Well, and I mean, it's meant that the whole big ponytail thing is a very childlike, lovable thing to do. What I'll tell you is I don't buy is that Sasha is kind of in the sidekick role, and Sasha really is the better character.
Yeah,
I mean, like
she's the boss. She
she's
can't be the boss and be the sidekick.
She's the bigger, better character, and personally, I think she's a better wrestler as well.
I agree.
So where Sasha's kind of in the support role doesn't make a lot of sense. Sasha is the one that seems like the mean girl at school, the bitch that everybody wants to be, but everybody hates too.
You think they're building up for another betrayal or breakup?
No, it always feels like they're kind of running the route with those two. At this point, if they did it, I don't know who they'd really be behind.
Who wants to see that again anyway?
I don't think anybody does.
It'd just be the same thing, but the title would be involved.
I think the idea of Lacey being built towards that spot makes more sense.
Yeah.
The wild card I'm thinking that could come in, maybe even win the Royal Rumble, would be Shayna Baszler.
That'd be cool. That'd be a good way to bring her up.
I would be much more into a Shayna Baszler Becky Lynch match straight up than I would another Charlotte and Lacey, or excuse me, Charlotte and Becky, or even Charlotte and Bailey. I'd be interested in seeing a Shayna versus Becky Lynch match at WrestleMania.
For sure. Is Shayna the NXT Women's Champion?
She lost the belt to Rhea Ripley, who they have strapped a rocket to.
Okay, I like Rhea Ripley too.
Did you watch the NXT War Games?
I did not.
Oh
no, I should watch that.
That was a star-making moment for Rhea Ripley.
Was it?
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah.
And then she was really promoted heavily in the Survivor Series match as well.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of her.
They've strapped the rocket to her, and she had a really good match with Baszler and took the belt from her a few weeks ago.
Okay, cool. All right, well, then there's only more reason to believe that maybe she'll move up.
And Baszler hasn't been seen or heard from since.
It's about time, too. She's been there for a while.
I
know they don't really move people up like they're actually moving people down.
Yeah.
But they need more star power in the women's division.
Well, I mentioned Baszler being ready, I thought, last year after WrestleMania. Becky beats Ronda Rousey, and I yelled into the microphone saying how easy this was. Because they brought Lacey Evans up at that point, who I just thought wasn't ready at all.
She wasn't then. I think she's gotten tremendously better.
Yeah.
I love her gimmick, though. I love it.
The lady?
Yeah, it's classic and modern at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get that. I thought Baszler was ready last year, and that being said, they haven't heard from her on NXT yet. They had a Women's Battle Royal last night for the number one contenders. Baszler wasn't even in it. Bianca Belair won. who's actually been impressing me a lot lately too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, again, go back and watch the NXT War Games with the women, and all those girls shine in there, including Bianca Belair.
Well, I'm sure she's gotten better in the ring for sure. I don't. It's that hair. That hair just bothers me. She looks like a fucking Mortal Kombat character.
Sindel, yeah, but they utilized it well in that match. But yeah, I would actually maybe put a small bet that I think it's time for Baszler to come up and win. I think that would really spark interest in what we were saying. It's kind of a fledgling women's division right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody else you brought up already, but I didn't think about that. But it's good possibility Ronda Rousey could come back.
Nobody's really heard much about her.
No, she's not having babies. She's filming movies and breaking and getting her finger cut off. You know what I mean?
I heard about that.
Like,
which if she was only had the availability or the interest in doing a couple months, this would be the time to do it.
Yeah.
Come back on the Royal Rumble.
Just lead, just work the road to WrestleMania and leave again.
Which I still, not to revisit last year's WrestleMania, but I still really feel like that was a disappointment. That should have been Becky's moment with a submission, Ronda Rousey tap it out.
They botched the finish. I know they claim they didn't, but they did.
Well, even then, a roll-up finish in the main event of WrestleMania is very anticlimactic.
For sure.
And it was botched on top of it, but man, I was really on board the entire rise of Becky. I think that was almost maybe a...
it was a lackluster end to all
and
that.
I think that was the beginning of what's been maybe a little bit of a lackluster year for her.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater like Josh. Josh is on that hatred of the Becky train. I thought Becky had an amazing match with Sasha at TLC. Anytime her and Charlotte is in there, it's good stuff. But we mentioned there's the Survivor Series main event. Really fell flat. The TLC main event also wasn't good at all. The Kyrie saying it was concussed for most of it. So
yeah, I heard about that.
That, obviously is a factor and not to be taken lightly. But, I mean, that match was just not good.
Yeah. I like Kyrie Sane, though.
Oh, I do, too. So, yeah, it almost seems like what her shining moment should have been a shining moment wasn't what it should have been. And then it seems like it might have been the start of a kind of a downward spiral in the Becky career right now.
I think she's aware of that, too, which might help with the Rumble and the road to and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because she probably knows that. She probably knows just how, that was kind of a fucking, that really popped the balloon there at the end of the match.
Which, I think, I really do. I think maybe a Baszler coming up and beating her at WrestleMania and maybe humbling her, bringing her back down. And because Baszler was amazing as her role as the alpha female for so long.
Yeah.
That I think that maybe then that's the climb to get back up. I've been here. I've been the champion all year long. And then I get knocked off. Well, now how are you going to come back? And I think that could be a long-term storyline that could actually be really good.
For sure. You can even build it with Charlotte. Because of that, her and Charlotte, mend fences and shit. You know what I mean? And,
sure.
I mean,
lots of different routes.
Yeah.
Right. But that's, I was trying to think of the women in that match, and I said on the active roster right now who would win, I really only thought Charlotte, and I agree with you that you could go the Lacey Evans route, but really, I mean, how much, her and Bayley at WrestleMania, that's not really selling it. That's, where you've had Charlotte and Asuka, which was huge and was awesome. You had then the main event, of course, last year. The women's have been really built up as a big deal with the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah.
That one doesn't really do it for me.
Who's Bayley against at Rumble?
I don't know if she's wrestling Lacey Evans right now or not.
Well, I mean, because think about it. Bayley might not be the champ by WrestleMania.
No, they could always go a lot of different routes.
Or she might lose it at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and I don't think Bayley definitely hasn't set the world on fire as the champion. So there's no reason to not think they could take the belt off of her and go a completely different route. By the time
isn't she the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion?
I would think so at this point, yeah.
Because Becky's the longest reigning Raw Women's Champions. Yeah, so, she's got the record. I wouldn't be shocked if they took the title from her.
Yeah,
then Lacey versus whoever.
As we're sitting here, we don't even know if she has a match at the Royal Rumble. So that's kind of how lackluster
we don't even care to really know. You know what I mean?
So to say that they might just go a completely different direction to set up a title match on that side, it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Shit.
Well, what else? Any other Rumble chat you want to talk about, man? We kind of covered our early memories. We covered our favorite memories. We've covered our surprises.
I think it's highly doubtful, but What if CM Punk comes back as a secret entrant?
That's.
I mean, he's got both foots in the door.
I think that
both
is
feet.
the one Willy Wonka golden ticket that they could always have if both sides agree on it. That is the one. We talked about AEW before, where it's like, you want to get me interested. CM Punk's on there. I will watch. I will absolutely watch and see what he does.
For sure.
You know, that is...
People who don't watch wrestling will watch.
Yeah. We want to see what he's going to do next. Whether you love him or hate him, and there's a lot of different opinions on him, you know, the way he left and everything like that. But you still want to watch. You still want to see it.
He's the Conor McGregor of wrestling.
Oh, I think so.
For sure.
Controversial everywhere he goes. Oh, everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to see what he does next.
I mean, I might be kicking myself in the ass a little ways down the road or something. I might not agree with myself with that statement right now, but as of right now, I mean, it's pretty safe to say.
I think so. That would be a huge one. So I got to tell you, I always go up to last couple of years we've gone up to Patrick Hayes' house to watch the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It's a big to do. Hayes, it's his favorite too. He actually likes to book any sort of Royal Rumble Battle Royals on indie shows. Like, he loves it.
Yeah.
But we've gone up the last couple of years, and we'll always do a random game where you might do like $2 a number, and you can maybe buy like 5 numbers. So for $10, you get to draw 5 numbers out of the hat, 1 through 30. And those are your numbers. And when your guy comes out, if your guy wins the Rumble...
I remember. I was invited last year, and I couldn't make it. But I remember you telling me about all that.
And now
that sounded
now
way cool.
with 2 Rumbles, there's double chances to win.
That's cool.
On top of all that, we set up some fun drinking rule games, you know, for anytime they point to the WrestleMania sign, you got to take a drink.
Yeah.
Anytime, you know, we bet on the surprises. Like last year, Jeff Jarrett was like rumored that he might be in the Royal Rumble, and he was.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So you take a drink. When your guy gets eliminated, you take a drink.
Okay.
So we've evolved the Royal Rumble into a drinking, gambling,
dude, that is a
fun
perfect
time festivity.
That is a perfect live stream game.
Yeah.
Like we should live stream us playing that game, watching the Royal Rumble.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
That's a great idea.
You'll
People
see
can get involved.
You'll see Hayes threaten to, not even threaten, kick me out of his house about 10 times throughout the night.
See, that'd be good. That's good
Yeah.
streaming right there.
Yeah,
that's
you'll
good
see
TV.
I did fall asleep 2 years ago during the Rumble.
Yeah, you fall asleep at House of Q's. You fall asleep.
It's a long night of wrestling, man. Look, you know, and yeah, we're drinking beer all the time. I did not fall asleep last year, though. Wow, and we also had the best pizza and wings we've ever had in our entire life.
What's that?
Shout out to Luca's restaurant in Stowe, Ohio.
Luca.
Yeah, the
All
absolute. That was the infamous manhole cover pizza that I know we've shown pictures of.
Maybe. I've never seen it.
It looks like the slice of pizza they're eating in Turtles 2 at the beginning.
Oh, the
big
giant one, the cheese like dripping down.
Yes,
sloppy.
it's amazing, and the pizza is the size of a manhole cover.
So it's like New York pizza in Ohio.
It is, and it's the best, and they have the best mild buffalo wings you'll ever have.
Well, there you go.
Life.
Go to Luca's.
Go to
Lucas,
Luca's.
you want to sponsor us? Go for it.
Yeah, go to Luca's. Go to Patrick Hayes' house just to mess with him. He'll be pissed about it.
There you go.
I actually wanted to see if he wanted to jump on and talk to us at the Rumble today, but must have been busy.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Maybe next time, sir.
Next time we got to get Pretty Pat on here, and the Rumble it's his favorite, it's my favorite, it's your favorite. It's the beginning of WrestleMania season, my brother.
I think if this is a Rumble to remember, or at least a 3.5 to 4-star Rumble, we should have a post-Rumble episode.
Post-Rumble episode? Oh, yeah. I think we could do that. I'll be free that week. I can get in quickly to discuss the Rumble, and then
Gotcha.
And then the road to WrestleMania going forward.
And if it's not, maybe we'll just have a quick little Rumble segment at the beginning of an ECW episode.
Well, which needs to happen. Mark needs to watch
dude,
ECW.
I got 5 pages of notes.
Yes.
So
it's going to happen.
I'm ready. I just got to watch a couple full matches, and I should be golden.
I think 23 will be the time. Mark watches ECW. We're in business.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
All right, man. Well, let's wrap up this Rumble episode. We've been potting here for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Walt's getting antsy.
This one's shorter than the last one, but
That's
we got a guest.
right.
But I mean, short and sweet is pretty fucking sweet sometimes.
And feel free, man, when you guys watch or listen, comment on your favorite Royal Rumble memories. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's have a discussion.
For sure. I mean, if you want to throw some questions our way, too, we'll fucking answer them on the next episode. If we get it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I guess with that said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Ohio Wrestlecast. T-shirts available.
Merch
Teespring.com/OWC. Yeah, we got stickers. Those aren't on there though, but I guess if you know us in reality,
you want a sticker, we'll get
or
you
you want
one.
a sticker, let us know somehow. We'll figure it out.
Appreciate everybody spreading the word.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
January 25th. I'm sure we'll drop before then. January 25th. If you're in the area, come out and check out Mid Ohio Wrestling. We got the anniversary show. I'll be in the tag team title bout.
That'll be the 19th anniversary, right?
Sounds right.
Because I think the 18th anniversary was the one
There
I went
you go.
to.
But the next year will be the big 2-0. We got my boy Patrick Hayes in the heavyweight title bout with Alex Matthews, Madman Fulton, Dominic Guarini, man. Loaded card. Hope to see everybody there.
Nice. Well, check that out, people. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time.
Bye, Internet.